When I stood out there in the patio, when I stood out there in front of that crowd with my rifle, I had no expectation of surviving the event.
It's hard for me to think about it now because we would be dead had he not acted.
That one man with one rifle against a mob of 500, you can't win, but we weren't going to die laying down. And that's what the Second Amendment's all about. When the mob came to our door, the only thing that saved our lives, our home, and our family was the Second Amendment. We're going to fight like hell to keep it, and you can take my gun out of my cold, dead hands. I'm Mark McCloskeys. I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Patty McCloskeys. Mark and I have been married for 35 years.
Patty and I met down in Dallas when we were both going to law school, and we've been married now since 1985. We bought this house in 1988. We wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, we have got 32 years of our life, our energy, our love in this house. We started hearing the mob come closer and closer and closer, and the drum beats and the chanting and the screaming. And all of a sudden, all of Kings Highway, from wall to wall, we're talking 6 lanes wide, was filled with people for as far south on Kings Highway as we can see, screaming, shouting, chanting, whose streets, our streets, no justice, no peace, you can't stop the revolution. All of a sudden, the gate bursts open. One part gets pulled open, the other half gets folded down to the ground, and the people start rushing in. I genuinely thought that if I didn't take some action within moments, I'd end up like Captain Dorn, or any of the other people in St. Louis whose buildings were destroyed and looted and burned to the ground. There's a lot of stuff in here, including us, that I didn't feel like having burned up.
I went in the house, I called 911. They just broke in the gates, they're coming at us. Mark had a Mossberg pump gun on the counter. I mean, he had set out guns, he had set out fire extinguishers, but I never thought that I'd have to touch one. I never thought. I wasn't going to touch a Mossberg pump gun. I thought, I know in this drawer right by the front desk, there's an exhibit gun there. I'll grab that. When it all happened, I said, this is the end. This is the end. My daughter had already fallen down on the ground out of fear. When I got the gun and I started toward the front door, she said, oh my God, both of my parents are going to die right now.
She shows up on the grass in front of me, between me and the mob, waving this little Brico pistol over her head, which she knows doesn't work, okay, because it was a gun we had used in litigation that had been intentionally disabled, right?
They saw me and started screaming things at me, death threats, and
the crowd is still chanting and screaming and talking about wanting to murder us, burn down the house, even kill our dog. I don't want to kill anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody, but by the same token, I wanted to protect my home, my life, my daughter, and my wife. I had every expectation of dying if I didn't fight the mob. I have every expectation of dying if I did.
It never occurred to me in my life that we would ever have a mob of people that would feel so emboldened to come to people's homes where I would have to have a gun, and they're going to take whatever you spent your 35 years on, and they're going to ruin it. They're destroying it because they can.
Patty and I have both now been charged with 2 felonies, okay? The 300 to 500 people that broke down our gate and came in here on June 28th, none of them are charged with anything, but they're prosecuting us for defending ourselves, to say we're not going to take it.
And if they're coming to our neighborhood and they're breaking through our gates, they're going to go through anybody's neighborhood, and they have proclaimed they're going to do it. And you will stand up because your children are there, and this is the heart of your family, and I know women can do this. I know they have it in them. I had it in me, and so will you.
When they came back that Friday, if we didn't have cover from the federal government, if we didn't have the backing by the White House, you'd be standing on a pile of cinders right now.
There's no question about it. Without President Trump, we would not be here today. He's got so many more important things to do than us. These people in St. Louis that have this little problem, and yet somehow he focused his attention on us. And it was spectacular what he did. It was spectacular.
I think that Donald Trump genuinely believes in his heart the power is with us, the people of the United States, and that when the government tries to take too much power, the people have the right to pull that power back in, not defund the police, but depower the government and put the power back in the hands of the people.
It's patriotic to defend your home, your family, and your country. America is the best country on earth. It's worth fighting for.
Turning Point Action is responsible for the content of this advertisement.